Pick a card. Why are people secretly applauding for you now? Here are your options, and I'll see what you're reading. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. In every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game. And every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake. So says Mary Poppins from 1964, I do believe. Why are people secretly applauding for you now? You see, right as I started recording, I heard this song and I couldn't get it out of my head. And interestingly enough, it was in my downloads. The words you see clearly. So your downloads go as follow. Your emotions no longer cloud your judgment. You achieve divine acceptance. You act accordingly. Your mind is on fire, burning through all illusions, your own, everybody else's. I feel like you can see clearly. And some people are not taking kindly to this. So we're going to explore a little bit more during the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. Pile number 1. It is so good to be here. Hope you guys are doing super well for this holiday season. I thought I would do a little bit of a glow up for you. And we're reading about why are people secretly applauding for you now. The word secretly, I deliberately put in there because, as we know, a lot of people don't want to applaud us to our faces. They kind of think that maybe perhaps you have a big ego. I mean, I don't know. I highly doubt it. But I think that people just don't want to give you kudos the same way that they don't want to compliment a stranger. It's just a pettiness. So we're going to see a little bit more about this. Pile number 1, you have the Hierophant. You have the 10 of Pentacles. And you have the King of Wands. So right off the bat, pile number 1. These cards look so well on camera. I'm like, you're so photogenic. Hey, pile number 1, maybe you're super photogenic. Maybe people think that, and that's why they're secretly applauding you, and they won't actually come forward and say, wow, you really take great pictures. I've never seen a bad one of you. I don't know. I feel like people tend to be petty with you or around you. Now, with the Hierophant, typically this is talking about your connection with spirit. This can talk about a commitment as well. And people are really applauding you maybe for your connection with spirit, or it could be your partnership. It could be your decisive action to move forward on what you believe in, which would be, once again, like your connection to spirit or your belief system and so on. And we have the bakery, but it turns out it's akery. And I'm wondering, and there's a key right here. Pile number 1, I feel like people are secretly applauding you because you have almost, it's like you're privy to the Akashic records. You have something, some secret sauce that you've come out with, and you are acting different. You're no longer, again, clouded by your judgment. People can't utilize your emotions against you any longer. It is no longer like, well, it's always been this way narrative. It is currently, well, this is how they're behaving, and so this is what they get, and not in a negative sense, but the same way that you would school your children. In preschool, if there are no limits, they can really hurt themselves. If there are no limits, it could be eating candy 24/7 and so on and so forth. And I feel like you've learned moderation. You've learned how to withhold your energy and give back to yourself. And people are really secretly applauding that. And I'm hearing including haters, okay? We're not focused on them, but back to the akery right here. I can't help but think about this right here. I feel like the akery and also being channeling like the spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down that I did earlier. You're welcome. Sorry about your ears. I feel like some people have an ache within them, or they are pained by your growth, by your glow up, but they're secretly applauding you because they wish that they had the gonads, the wherewithal to be able to do the same thing. Now, I feel like you've stood up for yourself, and in this way, all these other little nieces, love them to pieces, are looking at you. And it's almost like simply because you stood up, they've chosen not to stand on the podium, or they've chosen to stand down, whatever the case is. Maybe even you have a platform, right? And maybe perhaps these people are secretly applauding you because they think, well, I feel like outwardly they would be saying, well, there they are on their soapbox again. That's an old term for like you just standing up and just kind of spewing whatever rant you're going to go on about. And then you're going to get off the soapbox and, a little bit of like a snake oil delivery, a little bit of what are you selling today kind of a vibe. But I feel like people are really secretly applauding you because you've had the nerve to really stand up and speak your mind and take action with that. It is no longer like, well, this is how I feel, right? Like all of these hovering at the bottom. Well, this is how I feel and I'm not going to do anything about it. This is how I feel. I'm going to ruminate over it. This is how I feel. I don't have the courage yet. And you know what? Everything within its time. I don't feel like we need to be fools out there doing wild things because we act on a whim or a feeling or emotion or something, and then it backfires. That's not the point to this. I feel like you've been slow, methodical, careful. Maybe even somebody would call you a strategist. I don't know, pile number one. But I feel like you're being secretly applauded for your timing, for the knowledge that you do have an audience, whatever that audience might be. I'm also being led to think about I'm going to put her link below. I knew I was going to use her link some way, somehow in these readings. I just became a new subscriber to her channel, and she is phenomenal. And she talks about her religious upbringing and abuse. And from a stance of like, okay, we need to kind of change things. What can we do? And so on and so forth. Anyways, that was my take on her channel. I'm really inspired by it, so I'll link it below so you guys can really see what you think. But back to the akery right here, I feel like you were talking about things that have maybe perhaps even hurt you in the past, currently hurt you, or whatever it is that you're speaking on, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever you are elevated from. It doesn't even have to be that you're on a platform, but you've elevated your mindset, your heart set, and thereby you've elevated your actions. I feel like Spirit is helping lift you up as well. So this is pile number one, your glow up 2.0, as far as why people are secretly applauding you. That took me like 5 minutes. I didn't even address the second card. Good grief. Pile number one, I'm just going to say we have the 10 of Pentacles right here. And this is about family. This is about loyalty. This is about working. We have all the beautiful little bees working the flowers, right? And then we have the King of Wands right here. So this could indeed talk about a business you have. This could talk about the things that you do in your everyday day. That was redundant, but here we are. And I'm just going to say that you are really working diligently. You're working hard. You are harvesting, but you're busy continuing to do things. It's not like you're resting on your laurels. In fact, I was going to look up the word laurels because I've used that term for like ever, but then I'm like, what exactly is a laurel? So I kind of feel like it has to do with like a shirt, almost like the neckline of a shirt, but I don't think so. Anyways, the 10 of Pentacles right here, you're not resting on the work that you've previously done. You are like, okay, that was yesterday. Let me do better. Okay, that was last month. Let me do better. And I certainly feel like people are secretly applauding you now because you're no longer comparing yourself and utilizing you as a template for other people. You don't compare and go, well, I'm better than Susie Q down the road. Well, I'm not doing as good as John X right over here. Let me see if I can maintain that glow up, or if I can do better than him or her. It doesn't make a difference. Feel like pile number one, that people are really secretly applauding you for the knowledge and the wisdom and the action that you're taking to really know that comparison is deadly, that you're aware that you're only good as your actions yesterday, and that you keep it pushing. And people really admire this about you. Also, the fact that you are solid, they're also starting to see that you're having maybe streams of income, or that your diligentness is inspiring other people to become diligent as well. People are really understanding and secretly applauding you because you have a dream and you have a desire, and you could have multiple streams of businesses that have really grown and changed over time, as well as I feel like with the raven right here on top of the lion's head, that you definitely get divinely guided messages through spirit, maybe even possibly through other animals. But this and all of this transformation has caused an ache, right? An achery right here. It's caused an ache in people's minds. And I feel like it's not necessarily a personal thing. We're not here to hurt anyone on this channel. Pile number one, I definitely feel like people are secretly applauding for you now, but they have a secret ache wishing that they could do what they desire as well, feeling like their time is past, they're past their prime, and so on and so forth. And listen, I'm no spring chicken, okay? But I do what I can, and I make do with what I can, and I'm content with that. It's good enough, okay? So I feel like if we ruminate and we think, well, we can't do any better because the time has passed, or I never went to college, or I did all these things, and then look at the path that's led me to now, I can't possibly change my trajectory, that is faulty thinking. And I feel like people are really standing in applause to you. And I feel like you're an incredible example to those that are actually watching, but they would never say, okay? So pile number one, before I reveal these beautiful cards that you get to stare at from behind, that sounded weird. If you could take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe, I would definitely appreciate that. Also, please don't forget to hit that notification bell. That will alert you when I drop further videos. So why are people secretly applauding for you now? Appetite, alimentiveness. That's interesting. And then we have esotericism, skepticism. So maybe you are a mystic, maybe you are into your spirituality, and maybe perhaps people are secretly applauding you because maybe perhaps they don't even like believe in this stuff. I heard mumbo jumbo. So maybe they don't believe in the quote mumbo jumbo that you are preaching or talking about. And maybe they're not really privy to your marvelousness just yet. Maybe perhaps people are talking about, well, they are doing this in order to eat, right? In order to turn a dime, in order to make a buck, but it doesn't really mean that much for you. But they don't really understand that you have an appetite, and that appetite is growing. And what I mean by appetite, I feel like it's a spiritual appetite to learn, grow, to evolve, and to evolve. Now, with the initially, the skepticism and the esotericism right here, I probably pronounced it wrong, sorry. I just feel like people are coming to you maybe for answers, and they're kind of surprised that like you actually have them. They're like, wait a minute, pal, number one, you have answers. Also, I feel like your knowledge or wisdom or whatever has been put down for a long time. And it wasn't until maybe you become monetized, or that you're gaining a stream of income. Maybe you have private clients, maybe you're a reader, maybe perhaps you have a platform that hasn't done so well, or that has been fledgling for a long time. Guilty of all the things, by the way. Regardless, maybe you've gone through like many different versions of self with many different ideas for a business, and people just didn't believe in you or get behind you, or even recognize it as a real thing, whatever your thing is, right? Like you could have a mobile car wash, a mobile dog groomer, which, hey, awesome, good for you. But I feel like people are not really understanding that until they think that they see the income coming in, and then it validates it. Like almost like currency, the dollar, the paper, the Bitcoin, whatever, all of that stuff is what validates you. But I feel like pile number one, they're starting to get a deeper idea of whom you are, because it seems like you're not motivated by this almighty dollar that people really think. I feel like you've been misunderstood, and people are really secretly applauding for the fact that maybe your business is thriving, it's doing well, or it's starting to take off, or has been taken off for a long time. But they have this ache within them that they can't ease because they don't really understand the level of hunger or the quality of your hunger, which is basically your spirituality, your spirit connection with spirit, your belief system, and even the way the mouse is holding its little hands right in front. I do feel like maybe you could be like a preacher or a teacher of some sort. Doesn't have to be spirituality. It could be that you are a counselor, a mentor, or somebody who speaks on a public forum. You could go to schools and, you know, deliver messages and things like that. So whatever your thing is, or you could be a lecturer, I don't know, something, a professor of some kind. Whatever this is, I feel like you bring out the idea that this ache too can be cured. And how does one cure an ache? You have to go into the disease or the pain or the point of reference of like, this doesn't feel good anymore. What do I do about it? And it's like, well, why doesn't it feel good? You know, and so on. So you go through like the whole diagnosis thing, and then you go through what can I do about it? And you figure out, okay, you identify the appetite. Well, it's like, okay, you want to go to school and become a lawyer or a doctor or all these things because your family pushed you, invested all this money. So your appetite then is people pleasing, falling in line with others, unless it is your real desire to go to school and do these things. If your appetite is to go ahead and benchmark a title that your family has given you, an expectation that another one handed down to you for whatever reason, these are all benchmarks that you need to really face your appetite on. Okay, so not everything is food. Yeah, and you need to see it as an ailment. And I feel like, keep picking up and putting down cards. Sorry, guys. The ailmentiveness, I can't say it. You say it for me. Thank you. And then I have the 8-ball right here. That's really quite interesting. Maybe some of you guys do come from a history where it's a little bit dubious, or maybe you have like dabbled, or you've been caught up in like some kind of addiction and been there, done that. So there's no judgment from me. But I'm just going to say that you have this ability to show people that their ailment, is part of, you know, their appetite is something that's making them sick, basically. So if you constantly crave candy, if you constantly crave whatever, there's, you know, an issue there. So we need to address it. And it seems like you have the key. At least that's how people are perceiving you. And this is what people are giving you a round of applause, but they won't say. Stubborn bastards. Just kidding. Pile number 1. What do we have here? Eternal gatekeeper knowledge, assert and protect what is right for you. And so almost like this, for whatever reason, reminds me of a hair follicle. I feel like maybe perhaps some of you guys have a hair follicle that could be like inflamed or engorged or something going on with that. I don't know. That's for one person. You could have a sty in your eye, that kind of a thing. Or somebody who is watching you does. Now, why are people secretly applauding you now? With the number 32 reduces to 5. And once again, we have a lot of changes, but it seems like your hands are in a lot of pies. Seems like you have the ability to really kind of download and really get to the core of matter. And it seems like you get messages. I feel like people are... What I actually heard is people do be afraid of you, okay? I don't talk like that normally, so maybe some people do around you. But look at this. It seems like you are like erupting. It's almost like you're like letting it fly. Wherever it flies, it lands. And sorry, I just threw it. And I ain't even looking. So if you're in the way, you're in the way. What am I going to say? And it could be, you know, you're throwing about a lot of maybe your wisdom. People feel like it's a jab at them. And I know this is, you know, it's happened to me. I've taken things like personally and I'm like, oh crap, it wasn't even about me, but I made it about me. So maybe that could be an issue as well with other people. But they're secretly applauding from a distance. They could be secretly applauding you. Also, I'm getting that people are secretly applauding you at work also for having the key or being the key bearer. And I don't mean the physical key that opens a store. Who cares? I do mean the physical key that opens up like the wisdom, or you have the ability to diagnose, to troubleshoot a spiritual ailment or spiritual root. That's what it is. You have the ability to get down to the root of the matter. And people are really applauding this because they're like, what the heck? You're totally right about that. How's that even possible? And it's like, well, you're like, well, I don't know. I just put my hand out into spirit and I ask and I get, you know, and you can ask too. So I feel like you're really humble about that. And pile number 1, we love you for it. So moving forward, ooh, look at that. So I was hoping that one of these like orange, I'm into like the orange and yellows. Those are my colors. Moving forward, the first step is taken within our stillness. Yeah. And so I feel like people have seen you go through maybe a hermit or a dark night of the soul. You've done a lot of ruminating, a lot of changing, a lot of growing within your own mind. And I feel like this is taking off. The small steps that you do, what you don't see, are actually elevating you. and carrying you forward in such a manner that you have an aerial view of wherever it is that you're walking. For example, if you happen to be a gamer, I know nothing about gaming, so do forgive if I get this wrong, but you have an aerial view of the map, okay? And as you progress, like 2 to 5 steps or whatever, you have this ability to intuit where it is that you're headed to be the proper place. Now, I feel like at this point in time, you're done with like attachments and things that like tie you down, or things that make your freedom less free. That made no sense, but I think you get my gist. And I feel like people are really applauding you because you don't depend anymore on what other people think, or you don't get your self-esteem. You don't have an appetite, okay, any longer for people to really be the ones applauding you. And I feel like herein lies the irony. I feel like you are definitely going after what like gives you joy and it makes you feel good. You're going after, even though you are walking through an area that people go, hey bro, that's a desert. Do you know that? And you're like, yeah, I kind of know because my feet are kind of in it and it's kind of hot. But I trust that Spirit is going to teach me and show me exactly where to go. And to 28 reduces to 10 once again, and this reduces to a 1. So I feel like people see you in new beginnings, but that you're the eternal gatekeeper in some way, somehow, that people almost like have to go through you in order to really evolve, to glow up, to step up, to show up for themselves. I'm not talking about like anybody else, but it's almost like they have to. I feel like your humility has been utilized as a door or a window of opportunity, and only the humble, or only the ones that are willing to actually take it and come towards you, can really get that help as well. Now, I'm not saying that you're, the village shaman or anything, although you could be, but you have a lot of answers. And, if people are too prideful, then that's fine. That's, their choice. But I feel like you're moving forward, and whatever this is, that you have a divine trust in Spirit, that you're at peace, that you're not connected to anything necessarily that's tethered to this world. Like, you like only have a house over here and a car over here, and you realize that those things are material. And even like the rainstorms in Dubai, when all of the beautiful cars sunk and all that stuff happened, and even here in the US, where we've had like wild weather and things are happening and people are literally losing their lives and so on and so forth. And I'm not even going to talk about like the whole weather manipulation system, whatever, but we're just addressing what we see here. I'm just going to say that even with that you have come to a position where you understand that everything can be yanked away from you easily. I'm hearing yoink. Maybe you guys, some of you guys like reptiles or reptilians, or maybe you guys follow that one kid that like yoinks things back at sea, gives it a kiss and throws it back in the water, or that they want to yoink an alligator and give it a kiss. I forget who the creators are, but they're pretty cool too. So I think that you're willing to go on a journey, knowing that your journey is spiritual. It is deep. It is divine. It uncovers a great amount of mystery. And I feel like you are rejuvenated. And I also feel for those of you guys that are like a little bit not sure, or you're beginning your journey, or you're in the middle of and you reach that little point of doubt. I mean, let me tell you, who doesn't doubt? It's a miracle we're all 6 feet above ground. At least that's how I think about it. So I do feel like you are, all about instinct and intuition, but you have a higher perspective. And again, for pile number 1, you guys could have a lot of mucha conexión with your animal familiars. If it happens to be birds, if you feel like you have a bird around you, it doesn't have to be a physical one, then there you have it, okay? Something about a higher perspective and an aerial view, and the way that you lead a people as well, that you lead them out of a place where they've been imprisoned through this lock and key, a place where they have akery going on. Maybe even hatery. I don't know, right? We do make up words on this channel, but I think you get the gist of it. So I hope that you enjoy it. And much love to you during the holidays. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Crystal with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2. Why are people secretly applauding for you now? Inquiring minds want to know. You chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follow. You are currently dropping down into your body, allowing your intuition to guide you. I feel like that's really, really powerful, very much underrated. And your gut knows. I feel like you're starting to form, it sounds weird, but a relationship with like your gut. Your gut is your intuition, right? And so maybe some of you guys are also subconsciously like trying to clear up your gut health. You're thinking about like probiotics. You're thinking about things that like nourish your body versus things that just fill it and has no purpose or is harmful. Some of you guys are into like what is that called? Like taking anti-parasitic things, and you're into that as well. But also, pile number 2, I feel like you have an internal dialogue at play and you're in your villain era. I'm also hearing that sensually you're awakened and sensuality is highlighted in your life right now. So this is going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be saucy or not, but we're going to find out during the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome. Pile number 2. Why are people secretly applauding for you now? So pile number 2, you have the Hanged Man. You have the Queen of Pentacles. And you have the 8 of Pentacles. So what do I feel like you guys are coming from pile number 1? Interesting. So right off the bat, pile number 2, with the Hanged Man right here being featured with the Queen of Pentacles, I feel like people are looking at you different. People are plotting for you currently because it seems like this even looks like a cloud to me. I think it's a possum. So we have the Hanged Man right here trying to gain a different perspective. And I feel like people are really applauding you because they're gaining a different perspective. I feel like you provide that. I also feel like you put yourself in a timeout or put yourself in a period of social isolation or a period of like hibernation or the hermit mode, whatever you want to call it, in order to gain perspective. And not just perspective on your life, like life in general, I feel. So you guys could be my spiritualists, you could be my healers, you could be, I don't know, in any of the healing modalities, including people that do, it's okay, including people that do, I don't know, like Reiki or massage or hypnotherapy or that cranial stuff, I forget what it's called. But any of those, even like talk therapy, could be of major importance to you. I feel like you give people the perspective that you actually gain throughout like your contemplation. So this could be that you're an avid reader, a studier, or you are really going about your life looking at things quite differently. And maybe you're calling out your own cognitive dissonance. Did I just say that wrong? Well, in order to really make improvements. And I feel like the fact that you're working on yourself and you're just focused on that has people secretly applauding you because you're not looking at what everybody else is doing. You're just like, you know what? I'm a worker bee. What am I working on? Myself. What are you working on? Your glow up. What are you working on? Yourself, your self-esteem, your money. I heard your boundaries. Also, the ability to really stay rooted and maintain the perspective once you gain it. Because pile number 2, I feel like it's easy to have a spiritual perspective at times, and then you kind of lose it throughout the day. It's almost like we consume media, we consume movies and things like that, and then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, I don't even know what the point of that was or what was it about. And I'm definitely guilty of that as well. But I feel like you maintain this, and I feel like you're highly decorated. You're decorated not by like anyone except maybe source, and you're starting to really understand your own value. I feel like your level of compassion, especially for other people, but also for yourself, is like growing and evolving. I do feel like we've got birds here and a bunny right here and these little bees. I'm guessing, yeah, like worker bees. That looks like a wasp to me, but I don't know. And I'm just going to say that you could be very like protective of yourself right now, maybe even like defensive. And I've told this story before. When I first moved out to California again, the first year, I had a lot of meat bees coming around me. Whenever I go outside, they would just come to me. And my girlfriend thought I was kind of crazy. Well, lots of people do. Like she's off her rocker. But I'm like, no, really. Like, I didn't try to convince her. I just said, look, I can't be outside too much because these bees love me and they won't leave me alone. And so, sure as shoot, and I, get out of the car one day and she's outside and we're just going to chit chat before she goes to her home on the property. And I go to mine, respectively. And so we're out there no longer than a minute. And all of a sudden we have like 4 or 5 meat bees surrounding me. And I'm like, what? I told you. And she's looking at me. She's like, oh, okay, I get it now. But it's really quite interesting. Pile number 2. I feel like you've had people around you kind of like want to placate you or pat you on the head or something like that. Something about your brain, something about the way you think, something about like, oh, pile number 2, they're extra or they're special or they're, it's a little bit like condescending. I'm not going to lie. Now, I'm going to say that this same friend, love her to pieces, but we were at the gym and it, same idea, same different scenario, but we're at the gym and we're both on bikes and I'm like, all right, well, she got done first and I think she walked up a little bit later and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I got my 6 miles. And she like didn't believe me. She straight leans all the way over to look at the digital device on my bike to make sure that I wasn't lying. I just thought that was like so humorous. I'm thinking that's really interesting that you think that I would feel the need to lie about that, but okay. It's almost like I feel like you've had people double check you in your life. And I think that you could see the humor to that, but also it's a little bit sad that people have to go through those lengths because it tells me that they've been surrounded by people who've not necessarily been truth tellers. And so upon number 2, you could be my group that are definitely truth tellers. I'm looking at all these things and trichophobia, is that how you say it? I feel like some of you guys could definitely be triggered by that, but I feel like you're, putting everything in its place. You are gleaning, you are learning, you are growing, and maybe perhaps you're working hard, burning the midnight oil, and things are blossoming. I feel like your reputation is glowing up, and it's not necessarily like what people think about us, but I feel like you are just growing. You have a lot of fans, by the way, a lot of people that think that you're beautiful, that you're handsome, that you are solid. The biggest word or message that I can say right now is that you're being applauded for being somebody solid. That when you say to people something, when you speak on something, come on, Coco. He's like hovering here, wanting to perv my foot. So I allow it. I'm not going to lie. When you speak on something that people are like believing, and I feel like this goes even deeper because I feel like with the halos around these 2 little critters right here, these 2 little animals, I feel like it's your insight. It's the way that you see things. I feel like you see deeper than other people and they don't initially believe it. But when they do, they're like, what the heck? And this is why people are secretly applauding for you now. It's that you have stopped like trying to convince other people. For example, like when I told her I'd done 6 miles and I don't like try to convince. I'm like, okay, well, if you don't believe it, that's fine. I mean, it's no sweat off my brow. I'm not trying to protect a reputation here or something like that. It's like, whatever. If you don't believe it, that's great. You don't have to. And I think that ease in that ability to just be in your own skin and to be just comfortable knowing that somebody thinks you're a liar. In other words, I mean, not that harsh, but basically the same way, you're comfortable with it because you have grounded yourself in like truth and authenticity. But also pile number 2, I feel like you are the truth teller of your community. And it could even be like your family. You could be like the black sheep of your family and the truth teller of this community, whatever this community is. And I feel like while the truth teller doesn't get a lot of positive applause and certainly not public applause, I feel like people that are exhausted and people that are tired and people that have remained silent for years are secretly applauding for you. I feel like you're giving them a new perspective, and I'm hearing also a new lease on life. So before I reveal your flanking cards, pile number 2, if you can do me a solid and please like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm super excited and super grateful to have all of you here. I hope that you find something that's at least helpful or hopeful. And if you are a repeat offender to my channel, thank you guys so much. Like, there's not enough thanks that I can give you. I'm super grateful to have you here, and it's been fun to really channel all these energies because I feel like we're forming a little bit of a family here, a little bit of a tribe, whatever you want to call it. So before I forget, don't forget to click that little notification bell because that'll alert you when I do drop further videos. Pile number 2, hearing. Ooh, juicy, juicy. I'm getting this. Okay, so pile number 2, I'm going to say like right away, people are secretly applauding for you now. Maybe because you are clairaudient, because you have an alertness, you have, what is that? The doorbell thing that everybody's like so fond of, that of course I'm not going to be a fan. Anything that everybody is like raving about, I'm not going to be for it. I can almost guarantee you. Not DoorDash, the Ring. It's Ring, okay? Yes, I'm not a fan of Ring. Please don't cancel me just yet. Hear me out. So pile number 2, I definitely feel like with this yellow in here, I feel like you're definitely empowered. I feel like you have that quiet confidence. And when you do speak and somebody asks you about it, you speak logically. And from a point of like unawareness, we have the number 2 right here. And I feel like that almost goes back to that image that you chose, right? Where she's blindfolded, but you have to use all your other senses. And you're hearing, you could be clairaudient. You could be hearing people from the other side communicate with you, or words that kind of sound like your voice, but they're really not even something that you would dream up. And this is what you're being applauded for. Now, your alertness, you could be somebody who is incredibly alert, that anybody has like a micro expression, or they're starting to move funny, or their vibration is off. I feel like you can clock it like nobody. It's like you're on track there. You're like, dick. There's your time. There's your time. Ooh, I heard there's your time, fucker. So sorry. And you can clock it. Even if people have been like acting right and all of a sudden they start moving sideways and you're like, crab, I see you. I see you walking sideways. I see you pulling other people back in the bucket. I see you secretly hating. It's not such a secret. Energy never lies. And you are that person right now that you are absolutely in tune and alert. And then we have negligence. What do we have here? Assessment and manipulation with calculation. Okay, I don't know why I'm going to tell you this, but at work, there's been this like worm, or this big, I don't know what it is. It's like a worm or something. And it's been in this tiny little corner that's really hard to reach. Otherwise, I would have already plucked it out and gotten rid of it. But I'm like, where did this worm come from? Okay, like it's a big worm, like this big. And I can't quite reach it. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know what it is. If it's like a moth, or if it's an earth, it doesn't look like an earthworm. But anyways, that's beside the point. So number 30 reduces to 3, and this is actually work. So maybe people are really understanding that when it comes to your work, whatever it is that you do, you utilize a lot of your intuitiveness, your intuition, you get your downloads. You are privy, if you do body work and things like that, you know exactly what is going on with a person's body, but also you can tell them about their spiritual root. You tell them about themselves. So energy never lies and it never dies. Now, pile number 2, with the first word negligence that was on here initially that I was looking at, I feel like you also help people to really understand how they have been neglecting themselves, their inner intuition. That was redundant, sorry. But I think you get the point. I feel like you are helping people to really slowly come out of the woodwork, to really understand that they're a part of something a lot bigger than they are, a lot bigger than we are, in that psychologically we need to start like thinking a little bit bigger, right? It doesn't behoove us to go back into the ground and to be shaped by the media, or shaped by things that have been handed down from our parents, or school, whatever. It's like, why not make our own choices? And I feel like you help people to break out of narratives that are not good for them. Now, piggybacking on that idea, I definitely feel like some people have undergone some kind of like ritual abuse, or spiritual abuse. And I feel like you're starting to really understand and come into your senses. This is a channel that promotes, readings for people that are 18 and up. So I'm going to say that maybe perhaps you've been made to feel like your sexuality was not a good thing, or like you felt shame. Oh yeah. And I felt like letting go of shame during pile number 2, but I think I forgot to say it. So downloads will come down fast, by the way. So I'm just going to say, and there is a cross on this, is there not? Look, in a key. What? If I'm lying, I'm dying. Look, let's just get in there. Let's get in there, pile number 2. So why are people secretly applauding for you now? It's because you are incredibly spiritual, incredibly connected, very grounded. You don't have to be like, hey, I'm a cow, bring me the biggest wreath possible, and I don't have to have the shiniest car and the best whatevers. I'm just going to do what makes me happy and content and grounded, and that is good enough. And I feel like you help people to wake up out of the darkness, to really embrace their sensuality and sexuality, realizing that, yeah, we are, we're human. We're physical beings, that not everything has to be shamed or bad. I don't know. That's for somebody out there. So why are people secretly applauding for you now? Maybe people are saying that, I heard Iron Maiden. So maybe some of you guys liked Iron Maiden. That was my jam back in the day, by the way. But even more so than that, I just feel like you have come across maybe perhaps as being cold in the past. I don't know. And that they're starting to see a fire within you that they've never seen. That could be a possibility as well. So pile number 2, you have strength of vulnerability. Yeah, that makes sense to me. So true power lies at the fruit of a perceived weakness. Yeah. So I feel like you're being very vulnerable. You're being very real. And I don't think you're just like, this is not a clout chaser, okay? I feel like you may not know what's on the other side of this. And you may not even know the people that you're actually inspiring, the people that you're drawing. Look at all this mist. This is almost like, I feel like people wanting to peer through the mist, peer through the mystery that is pile number 2. But really, pile number 2, why are people secretly applauding for you now? Is that they're applauding your 2.0-ness. That's not even a word. But you have the ability to really share your vulnerability and make that into a strength some way, somehow. That you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm human. And yeah, I struggle with these areas and I still do. And I fall and I get back up and I try. And I've been through therapy and I've been through rehab. That's my story, by the way. And I put myself through rehab like several times, not court mandated, but by choice. And so whatever it is, I feel like this has given you great stability, but also I feel like you have a lot of clout within your community, whoever is watching you. And I don't know why that would even be a thing. It's like, what, who needs that clout? But whatever. Look, women supporting women. And then all of a sudden in my brain, I saw how do they put it? Like an ads, women for women. I don't know. It used to be, I think, something on like a Craigslist a long time ago, or when women are seeking partners or whatever. So it could be like same sex, different sex, doesn't make a difference. But pile number 2, I feel like women supporting women. Together we can transcend our individual limitations. Yeah. And look at how this is like courting. And maybe you have a community that you are bonding together with. Maybe you help dispel some of the clouds. Maybe you guys try like different things to really see how you can glow up, show up. Maybe perhaps you lead a meetup group or you belong to a meetup group and so on and so forth. But I feel like you're being viewed as somebody who is incredibly calculated, that you have a great brain on you, but that brain is connected and plugged in directly to source, to spirit, to higher self, to God, to Buddha, to whomever, okay? The angels, if you want to say. But this is really impressing other people, and that you're being applauded by being able to really sink in and go, no, my gut instinct that says this person is no bueno. And you're right every time. And people are now starting to see this as well. Also, pile number 2, people are having dreams about you. I don't know why. I don't know if you know this, but you might have people within, I don't know, from now to 6 months from now say, hey, I had a dream about you. It was kind of weird. Or they may not even tell you, to be honest, because when you start a conversation with, hey, I had a dream about you, people automatically think it's going to be like a saucy kind of a dream or something weird, or like you're obsessing over them. I don't know. That doesn't necessarily have to be it, but I am that weirdo that I'm be like, oh my gosh, I had a dream about you. I'm going to tell you. And it's usually, you can count on it. If I'm telling you about it, it was nothing salacious. So anyways, otherwise, I'm going to keep that ish to myself. Pile number 2, that's what I have. Much, much love. Until next time, round of applause for you. Namaste. Hi, friends. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3. You chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen, and your downloads go as follow. Why are people secretly applauding for you now? How are you so different? They're thinking. You're the same, but better. How is that possible? You've had so many different transformations. I don't really understand or know who you are. And how is it that you have this ability to look at people in the eye with boldness and with almost like defiancy is the word that I actually heard. So there could be something that's being perceived as being, I heard the audacity. Okay, maybe you're audacious. Maybe you're a little bit of like in your face currently. So we're going to go ahead and get a little bit more information during the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to my channel. Pile number 3. Why are people secretly applauding for thee? You have the 8 of Swords. You have the Moon. And you have the 7 of Swords. Wow, look at all that back there. That's cool. So right off the bat, pile number 3, you are making moves. You are on stealth mode. I'm hearing you are guarded, but very direct. I'm looking at, it's almost like, yeah, okay, let's get in there. These are owls, actually. They're little owls holding hands. I feel like you have a lot of wisdom. I feel like you could be protecting a lot from behind the scenes. And there's a lot of clouds, like your moves are being clouded, shrouded, protected. Then we have all of these roots right here. Almost makes me think of like an eyeball, almost like an orb with a lot of roots. And I feel like that makes sense versus the image that you chose, because I feel like you see things clearly now. And the 8 of Swords is getting a little bit tied up and wrapped in your head, but I feel like all the roots, that the way that you used to see things and also the way that people see you, that's no longer a thing. I do feel like people are actually in their heads about you, but you have like a 360-degree head turn, an ability, a mobility to be able to see things that other people cannot. And with that, there's a great mystery behind you, which is kind of interesting, but something about the roots. So this could be about your root of origin or things that you've uprooted. So we're going to see as we read further. Pile number 3, what are people secretly applauding for you now? Why are they applauding for you? And then we have the Moon, and it's like, wow, I'm getting that. I feel like people, okay, take it in the spirit that it's meant, but I feel like people that didn't even check on you, didn't stay in touch with you. This could be old co-workers, friends, family members, whatever. People from el barrio. I'm hearing actually, literally, somebody lived in el barrio and people are looking for them. They're like, wait a minute, you're not with us here? You like escaped? You escaped the Matrix? Where are you? What's going on? That kind of a thing. People are starting to look for you, but you are no longer there. I feel like you're, quote, popping out, and I don't think that that's really what it is, but people are talking about you, and you're bringing, along with it, other people are like, yeah, have you seen, have you heard, have you, oh, you know, pile number 3, they've had a glow up. Have you seen them lately? And I feel like all these windows are like people wanting to peek in and chatter about you. And then you have a couple of brave souls that are like, oh, hey, pile number 3, but you're hidden. You're deeply hidden. I feel like you're divinely protected. You're making stealthy moves. It's not like you're like, oh yeah, oh hey, I'm pile number 3 and I'm going to let you know everything. You've been out of touch for like years and years. And then you want to be privy to my moves or what it is that I'm doing, how I'm making moves in life. How is it, do I see things? You know, it's nobody's business right here. We have the 7 of Swords right here. And this tells me that you've been making moves, big, stealthy moves also. And whatever this is, and we'll get more into it in just a minute because I'm not getting anything, any one thing in particular, could have to do with your roots again. I feel like it's keeping people a little bit on their toes. I'm hearing 10 toes down. It's like, how come pile number 3 is making moves in silence? And it's like, well, pile number 3 could be thinking, well, my moves were always in silence because you never were even around for those moves. Like you didn't care what I was doing. You didn't care what I was saying. Some of you guys, pile number 3, you could also have had like an awakening, or some of you guys had NDE. I think that's what they call a near-death experience. And that has put you in touch with source or with communication with the other side, with spirits and things like that. So you could actually have, spirits like wanting to come and communicate with you and talk to you. And some of you guys, if you know about duendes, those are the enanos, the little people. You can look those up, by the way, on TikTok or YouTube. Of course, I use TikTok for everything. It's a better platform, but who knows? But if you know, you know. So some of you guys could have family that handed down stories to you, and you're just now starting to think maybe those things are real. And I feel like you're looking to your roots right here, and you're starting to wake up and really analyze and see that we are indeed in a matrix, that this is not even a real thing. It's pretty much a simulation, I feel also. Pile number 3, that with that awakening, I feel like you're being drawn in other directions. And because of your mass changes, people can't really relate to you, but they are incredibly drawn to you. And that's part of why they are secretly applauding you. Oh, well, big surprise there. Sleuthing. Olfaction. Noisiness. Nose blindedness. Okay. So we have some people sleuthing. This could be like a mother figure with a number 3 and all the roses right here. I'm getting a mother figure as well. It could be sleuthing, and this could be somebody who's affiliated with a bear or the circus, right? So you could have people or somebody who is a mom, doesn't have to be your mom, trying to gain some information about you, trying to gain a little bit more insight. I feel like they might be tied up in their head and memory, yeah. So I feel like that goes back to the whole scenario that I told you about. It's like you grew up in the barrio, or people like from way back when are thinking, oh, pile number 3, what do you mean they made it out of El Barrio or the projects, or they made it out of, whatever small town you came up from, or whatever corner of the world you're in. And well, what are they doing now? Like, what's so special about them? And they're doing some homeworking on you. With memory, people are thinking, and they're like, I remember pile number 3 when they would, dress a certain way or do this and, try to get attention or ran the streets. Hey, don't kill a messenger. That's what I'm hearing. Presumptuousness, yeah. And then we have repression. So you have changed form, and this has been a big thing for you. Pile number 3, people are secretly applauding you now because you're no longer the same person. Maybe you've like lost a lot of weight, or you've gained, or whatever, but you are totally different. Your form is different. You're moving different. I feel like you have the ability to know that if you voice things out loud before you accomplish them, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to come to pass the way that you want. So I feel like you realize that it is best to keep things between you and spirit and only make your quote revelations after it's a done deal, whatever it is. So that's a quick tutorial about keeping things in silence, okay? And it's not like everybody has it out for you and they're trying to like sabotage you, and you know that. But I do feel pile number 3 that you really recognize energy for what it is. And when people start hearing like the good that you're doing or good that's coming towards you, and I'll give you a real example in a second, you realize that all of that energy, all of that focus can really kind of churn and change the energy around you. And why would you want that directed to you? So case in point, I had a collaboration with a really big content creator, and I love all collaborations that I've done so far, obviously. Super, I don't know, I feel like I vibe with them. Now, this content creator, I still, I love their content, and they're a really big one. But the minute I even voiced, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited to have this really big collab coming. It went south. And so it got postponed, and I don't know if, there's an intention to do anything with it. And my point in the matter is that I feel like the energy changed. And, I'm not chasing energy, because if it's not right, why would you push something that isn't right? That's my philosophy. So I feel like you've learned lessons like that. Now, I also feel like you're somebody who is spirit taught and spirit led. I feel like you can get your downloads also from nature, from everything like little insects and bugs. Like to you, everything is a sign. You see a license plate number. And it really has meaning for you. And you guys, if you want to test it out, I mean, it's a real thing. Before I reveal these flanking cards, pile number 3, if you can take a moment to like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, make sure that you guys hit this notification bell so that you can be notified when I drop further videos, okay? But once upon a time, I had a boyfriend, and, you know, things were not going well. Surprise. And I was driving, and I saw this license plate, and it said, Arrivederci. And I was like, whoops, I knew right then and there it was totally over. So you could be someone like that. When you see different signs, you could see numbers, you could, you know, if they're recurring, I don't look for signs, but I observe things. And 9 times out of 10, they're telling me, okay, this is the right way. So you could be somebody who moves on instinct, on intuition, but with all those butterflies and all the transformations that you have, you're okay to keep things low key, keep things sometimes maybe even in your own head until it's time to make your moves. And I do feel like you are my lone wolves as well. So I love this for you. Pile number 3, you have sharing. I just said don't share. I love how Spirit's like, what about them beans, huh? So sharing, there's giving and receiving and giving. Yeah. And I feel like you've learned also to make sure that energy is reciprocal, that you're not the one always dumping out energy and pouring into situations and overdoing things. You're doing too much is what I heard. I feel like once upon a time, pile number 3, you could have been my group that just did too much. This would be my pile too. And you know, eventually, hopefully, we all learn our lessons. And this is not a lesson in not giving. This is about what is reciprocated, what is reciprocal. Is the energy fluid and flowing in between people, or is it simply one-sided? Are we attached to an energetic runner and a chaser dynamic? And why would that be? So I feel like you've learned and evolving around, not saying that you're perfect. Nobody is. Except for that tree that is leaning in front of me right now, and it is holding on to some radiant, beautiful leaves that are like oranges and yellows and greens. It's like, hey, what's up? I see you. So yeah, very similar to these colors right here. So I feel like you have a close community that you give to and so on, and it's reciprocal. You could break bread together. I feel like they have a lot of love for you, and vice versa. And there could be like children involved, maybe even 3 children right here. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, but people are secretly applauding you because you're almost like the mentality of it takes a village. It takes a village and I need help. It takes a village and I have help to give. What? I'm like, don't put your face next to this little guy right here, even though he's beautiful. Trusting tricksters. The trickster's only power is your trust. You are always free to withdraw it. Yeah. And I think that this is a lesson that you learned. Pile number 3 that we have talked about. This is why you're in your glow up era. You are your 2.0 version of yourself. And people are secretly applauding you now because you've seen the error of your ways, right? Quote unquote. I feel like you have withdrawn your trust to people that have like misused it, abused it. You fawn. Okay, maybe you were stuck between flight, fight, fawn. Freeze was the last one. And maybe you were in a place in life where you had the need to fawn in order to escape danger. I don't know your life, and we're not here to judge. We listen, we do not judge. I love that trend. But pile number 3, I'm going to say that trusting tricksters has really been maybe perhaps your downfall, or you were known for it. And that is changing. This is why you are in your glow up and people are secretly applauding for you now. I feel like you have the ability to smell the roses, the ability to even know when you have a trickster or a non-friend or a frenemy or an enemy within your midst. But I feel like you don't make a lot of big deal about it. You understand it. And maybe she thinks she's got some control over it. You know, you can hold people at bay. But I do feel like even this thing that she's smelling is trying to kind of like wrap up her arm, almost like to restrain or confine her. And I feel like you have, I heard the word slippery. So you have this ability to kind of slip out of traps that other people set for you. And maybe perhaps it's like you could have somebody, I'm feeling strong work vibes of somebody like trying to set up traps for you to fall into. And it could be one of those things where, maybe you are responsible for doing something and somebody moves paperwork and you don't know that it's a thing that needs to be done. They removed the paperwork out of the printer. I'm thinking back to the era when we didn't do emails and things like that. But whatever this is, yeah, I'm hearing oho, and people are like watching you. And I feel like sometimes you do still have and have people like wanting to kind of trick you and cause a demise and cause a fall. Now here, I feel like you are currently responsible. You've taken on the assignment, like challenge accepted is what I heard in my head, of really changing your family lineage and any generational things that are not good for your family, that were harmful, that were repetitive. I feel like you are changing those up. I feel like you've unearthed them, you've exposed them, and other people are a little bit flustered about it, but they're going to find their footing for sure. Currently, these people might be in their head about things, and that's fine too, but make no mistake, you got a lot of looky-loos, people watching you. So, in spite of watching you and feeling like maybe they're in their head or they can't do anything about anything, whatever their motives are, because we're reading for the masses, as I love to say optimistically. Pilot number 3, I feel like there is an air of like admiration because they're like, wow, that's like pretty cool or whatever. So whatever they're observing, they're also absorbing. And, you know, I'm here for it. I feel like if it's going to help change your lives and hopefully it'll change your character and their shadiness and whatever, good for them, you know, whatever. But I feel like even your haters, your enemies, your frenemies are secretly applauding you. That's just like awkward. But here you heard it first on my channel. That's what I have. I hope you guys all have a great holiday. Until next time, namaste.